Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Korea, where every rumor hides a story, and every silence holds a truth. Today, we're uncovering one of the most talked about topics in Korean entertainment. Yoona and Lee Chae-min break silence on romance rumors. Lee Jun-ho's reaction leaves fans speechless. For months, speculation has swirled, whispers of secret meetings, stolen glances, and unspoken emotions between two of the industry's most watched stars. But when the truth finally came to light, it wasn't just their words that stunned fans, it was Lee Jun-ho's unexpected reaction that changed everything. What really happened behind the scenes? Were the rumors just fanfiction, or was there something deeper all along? And how did Lee Jun-ho's response turn a private revelation into a public shockwave? Stay with us, as we unravel the mystery, the emotion, and the truth behind the story that has captivated an entire nation. Let's begin, right here on Hidden Korea. It began with a single photograph, one that neither agency could explain and neither actor could deny. A blurred image taken on a rainy night in Seoul. Two figures standing too close under a single umbrella. The glow of a street lamp revealed a familiar profile, Yoona, Korea's beloved icon of grace and discipline, and beside her, the rising star Lee Chae-min, looking at her with a gaze that the internet would later describe as too gentle to be just colleagues. Within minutes, the photo went viral. Fans debated, denied, dissected, called it fabricated. Others zoomed in, enhancing every pixel, convinced it was real. By dawn, hashtags had flooded every platform: Yoona dating rumor, Chae-min umbrella, Yoona scandal. But what no one knew was that this was not the beginning. It was the end of a story that had been quietly unfolding for months. According to an insider who spoke to Hidden Korea on condition of anonymity, the connection between Yoona and Lee Chae-min had begun long before that night. It started during filming for a variety special, a casual, light-hearted program where stars played games, laughed, and shared harmless banter. But cameras, as they say, never lie. Their chemistry was impossible to hide. Every time she laughed, his eyes softened. Every time he stumbled, she smiled in a way fans hadn't seen in years. It wasn't scripted, the insider revealed. They were supposed to act like friends. But the energy between them was too real. The staff noticed. Everyone did. At first, both actors brushed it off as harmless rumors. But as weeks turned into months, sightings began to multiply. Fans claimed to have seen them dining quietly at a small restaurant in Hanam-dong. Another report placed them at an art exhibition, standing apart but leaving together. Their agencies denied everything. Their close colleagues, nothing more. The classic response: clean, rehearsed, cold. But the internet refused to let go. Then came the moment that turned whispers into thunder. During a live fan event, Lee Chae-min was asked a playful question: "Who is your ideal type?" Instead of offering the usual vague, charming answer, he smiled and said softly, "Someone who shines even when the lights go out." Fans laughed at first, until they remembered that Yoona had used that exact phrase years earlier during a magazine interview. The clip spread across platforms like wildfire. Within hours, comparisons were drawn, quotes were matched, and theories were cemented. Silence from both stars only fueled the flames. Behind the scenes, things were far more complicated. Multiple insiders confirmed that Yoona and Lee Chae-min had been close for almost a year, but not in the way the media portrayed. Their connection was deep, but fragile, existing in the narrow space between friendship and something more. She, a seasoned actress and idol with years of experience navigating fame's razor edge. He, a younger actor just learning how to survive its heat. Confided in each other, said one production staff member. She helped him handle pressure. He helped her remember what it felt like to be human again. But their secret friendship, or perhaps something beyond it, didn't sit well with everyone. Among those caught in the storm was Lee Jun-ho, Yoona's longtime co-star and close friend. Their on-screen chemistry had once sparked its own round of dating rumors, which both had denied with mutual laughter. But now, with a new name beside hers, fans turned their eyes toward him again. When the rumors about Yoona and Lee Chae-min broke, Lee Jun-ho remained silent, until a week later. It happened during a live interview promoting his new series. The host, in an attempt to lighten the mood, the smirk, "So, have you congratulated Yoona and Chae-min yet?" The studio froze. The question hung in the air like a blade. Lee Jun-ho's smile didn't falter. Something in his eyes shifted. He took a breath into the camera and said, "I'm happy if she's happy. That's all that matters." The simplicity of his answer should have ended it, but it didn't. His tone, calm but strained, carried a weight that fans couldn't ignore. Within hours, clips of that interview flooded social media, racking up millions of views. Fans debated endlessly, was that sadness in his eyes? Or simple professionalism? What followed was chaos. Media outlets framed it as a love triangle, and forums turned toxic, fans choosing sides between Team Chae-min and Team Jun-ho. Meanwhile, Yoona disappeared, canceling appearances, avoiding cameras, and leaving behind only silence. But silence, as Hidden Korea has learned, speak louder than words. Because a month later, she finally broke it, and what she said would change everything. The statement came without warning, a single post on Yoona's official page at 11:42 p.m. KST. No agency logo. PR spin. Just her words. Sometimes, kindness is mistaken for love. Friendship becomes a story we never meant to tell. But I will always choose honesty over rumors. The world exploded. Within minutes, the internet was ablaze with questions. Was it a denial? A confession? Was she protecting Lee Chae-min? Or distancing herself? Her words were poetic, deliberate, but impossible to interpret clearly. Hours later, Lee Chae-min posted too. His message was longer, more emotional. The truth is simple, we met as colleagues and became close as people. I've learned that caring for someone can look like love to those who only see from afar. I will always respect her. It was careful, respectful, but not cold. Fans read between every line, every pause, convinced that something had existed between them, something real, now buried under the weight of fame. Then, out of nowhere, Lee Jun-ho posted one final message. Some stories are too sincere to belong to headlines. Those words, cryptic, heartbreaking, sent the fandom into collective hysteria. Was this his blessing, his farewell, or his confession? Insiders later revealed that all three actors had met privately before posting their statements. According to a close acquaintance, the meeting was emotional, filled with apologies, tears, and quiet understanding. They decided together to end the speculation, even if it meant letting the public believe whatever they wanted. Yoona told them both she was tired of being defined by who she stood next to. The source said she wanted peace, if it meant silence. After that night, everything changed. Lee Chae-min withdrew from several projects, citing mental fatigue. Yoona returned to work months later, radiant but quieter than before. And Lee Jun-ho, the man whose single sentence had echoed across the industry, carried on, his image now tinged with quiet melancholy. And there was no dramatic confrontation, no betrayal, no clear ending, only the lingering ache of timing and misunderstanding. But fans still talk about that triangle, not as scandal, but as a story of maturity, restraint, cost of emotion in a world that watches too closely. I once said in an old interview, you can't choose who the world pairs you with, only who you truly see. And perhaps that was the truth behind it all, that what the world saw as love was never meant to be exposed, never meant to be explained. Months later, when asked again about the rumors, Lee Chae-min simply smiled and said, I'll always be grateful that she taught me how to be brave. Porter pressed, so, was it real? Then answered quietly, everything that changes you is real. And just like that, the fairy tale ended, not with confession or scandal, but with something rarer, dignity. Because in a world obsessed with exposure, Lee Chae-min and Lee Jun-ho reminded everyone that even the most public hearts deserve the right to keep some pieces hidden. Their story wasn't about who loved whom, about how love, even unspoken, can echo louder than words. And as fans continue to debate and dream, one truth remains unshaken. What they shared wasn't rumor. It was human. And so, the story that began with a whisper ends not in scandal, but in quiet truth. Lee Chae-min and Lee Jun-ho never intended to ignite a media storm, only to exist as artists and people, caught between fame and feeling. Started as harmless speculation became a mirror reflecting the impossible balance between privacy and performance in the world of stardom. When the rumors first surfaced, no one imagined the emotional weight behind the silence, the misunderstandings, the sleepless nights, the struggle between heart and duty. For Yoona, It was a test of grace. For Chae-min, a brutal initiation into the cruelty of fame. For Jun-ho, it was a reminder that sometimes love, even when unspoken, can leave the deepest mark. And they all chose peace over performance. At a confessions. No media spectacle, just dignity. They turned gossip into reflection, teaching both fans and the industry something rare, that respect, honesty, and silence can be louder than any rumor. The story that once burned through headlines now lingers like a soft echo, the echo of people who dared to live, feel, and move on with their hearts intact. Because the truth wasn't who loved whom, it was that they loved sincerely. Even in a world that refused to believe sincerity still existed. And as the world moves on, their story remains, not as controversy, but as a quiet chapter in the endless script of human connection. In a place where every glance becomes a headline. Reminded us that the most powerful love stories are the ones that never need to be explained. Their silence was not emptiness, it was grace. And grace, in the end, lasts forever. At Hidden Korea, we search for the truth beneath the spotlight, the fragile human heartbeat behind fame's glittering facade. The story of Yoona, Chae-min, and Jun-ho reminds us that love, friendship, truth are never simple, but they are always real. Readers and viewers across the world, thank you for staying with us until the end, for choosing empathy over judgment, for remembering that behind every rumor lies a human soul. This has been Hidden Korea, where silence speaks louder than words.